There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, trying just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Woo! Right. Ta-da! I got to do this at Unity of Nashville's World Day of Prayer service this past Thursday night. It was just a magical evening, all candle lit and surrounded by friends. And better way to spend time, is there? Just like this morning. There is a candle in every soul, some brightly burning, some dark and cold. There is a Spirit who brings the fire, ignites a candle, and makes his home. Carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the helpless, confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle, go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world. Frustrated brother, see how he's tried to light his own candle, some other way. See now your sister, she's been robbed and lied to, still holds a candle without a flame. Carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the lonely, the tired and worn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle, go light the world. Take your candle, go light the world. Hey now, 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 now. Hey now, 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 now. Hey now, hey now. We are a family whose hearts are blazing. Let's raise our candles and light up the sky, praying to our Father with our brother Jesus. Make us a beacon in darkest times. Carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the hopeless, deceived and worn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle, go light the world. Take your candle, go light the world. Seek out the helpless, go like the helpless, confused and torn, and hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle, go light the world. Take your candle, go light the world.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Chattanooga. I'm Mona Petro. Let me rewrite it. Okay, good morning. I'm Mona Petro, and I serve as your board president. I love being here with all of you gathered in person, and also I want to welcome everybody that's on our Facebook as well. Whether we show up in person or online, we know that we're connected to the oneness of divine love as we come together in friendship, family, and spiritual goodness. For those of you who are following us online, be sure to give us a thumbs up and also to acknowledge and welcome others that are on Facebook. Also, we do have a Friends of Unity Facebook page, so please feel free to log on and take a look at that. If you would like a copy of our newsletter so you can see who will be speaking each week, send an email to contact@unityofchattanooga.org. This morning, we're pleased to welcome back Reverend Sean and Laurie O'Shea as our guest speakers and musicians. Sean is an ordained interfaith minister, and he has an uncomplicated motto that says, "By lifting each other, we serve our Creator." Yes, it's that simple. On my just for today's that Shannon shared with me, it's "I remember I am part of the web of life. How I live impacts others. I practice living simply so others can simply live. And I thought that was such a nice tribute to your philosophy as well. Unity of Chattanooga is a spiritual community where you're invited to awake to your divine nature with love, and personal transformation and service. We like to think of ourselves as welcoming, loving, uplifting, and a fun place for those who want to share their spiritual journey with down-to-earth, like-minded people. We bring together people from all backgrounds and celebrate all walks of life as our diverse and our oneness. We are philosophy of gentle words, silent prayers for a positive, practical spiritual living. We believe that we are co-creators with God, creating our reality through thoughts held in mind. We provide uplifting and inspirational messaging to support you on your personal spiritual path, and I'm sure you'll find something in today's service that will inspire you. In Unity, prayer is the foundation of all we do. We believe that using prayer and meditation to center ourselves, we can align our hearts and minds with the presence of God that resides within. We will actually, I would like to invite Reverend Sean to come up and open with prayer.
Check. We can never go wrong opening with prayer. Thank you. I invite you to just take a moment to fully be here now, immersed in this moment. And know with me that we are here to serve each other. Maybe you're thinking, but I came here to be served. Perfect. Because there's no better way to set yourself up to receive than to give. It's true of love. It's true of kindness. It's true of our abundance. The more we give, the more we receive. So right here and right now, I'm counting myself as one of the luckiest guys in the whole world to be here with my wonderful partner and to be here with all these wonderful friends. And I know we are going to have a memorable, magical morning. And so it is.
It will be even more magical when I have my notes and the lyrics, which I'm going to get momentarily.
Oh, I would have gotten them for you. I didn't realize. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, we'll figure it out. So I took her lyrics, basically, is where we're going with this.
I think he did.
I think I did. Oh my. My bad.
Sean has always challenged me since
Why
we've
should
been
today
married.
be any different?
In a good way. He's always pushed me outside of my comfort zone, and I'm eternally grateful for that, but I didn't count on the taking the lyrics part. That would have been a little more out of my comfort zone than I wanted. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Here we go.
So we have a friend, Jana Stanfield, and Jana is such a lot of you probably know her, if not all of you. She's such a talented singer and songwriter, and she wrote this song called I Am One, and we thought this might be a good one to do today. So this is Jana's song, and it's really good if you join in on the chorus, and Sean will kind of help you out with that. It's a simple chorus, so if you echo, that would be wonderful. It sounds so much better that way. So here we go. just a spoke in the wheel, one grain of sand, but it feels so right to be right where I am. One little part of a much bigger plan, and the longer I'm here, the more I understand. I am one. We are one. Like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one. We are one. That sounded nice. I'm just one drop of rain that falls from the sky, that runs to a stream, then the ocean by and by. And I could do worse than to give myself up on the crest of the wave in this ocean of love. Sorry about that. Here we go. I am one. We are one. Like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one. We are one. One gentle touch, one loving word, one single step toward a kinder world. I am one. We are one. Like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one. We are one. I am one. We are one.
Very nice.
Nice singing. Thank you for joining me.
Did you all see my jacket? Good. Right. Thank you. Oh, thank you. That's nice of you. Laurie pointed out that she left my notes where they belong. Thank you, honey. It's a little toasty in here, hence the fall jacket needed to go. So some of you will get a kick out of this, some of you tech-minded people like Steve. There's blue tape on the floor here, and that's Shannon. Please do not step beyond that. And I'm feeling like a caged animal, because some of you know I'm kind of a pacer, right? I like to be moving, which is why I got the wireless headset here. But so I don't drive the poor guy completely crazy.
And the bathroom. The bathroom is that way, back and forth that way.
Behind Shannon?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Don't go that way.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, that's right. You don't want to be on camera.
We can hear the toilet.
You don't have to tell them that. Okay, that's funny. But I was like a 7th grader trying not to laugh when I heard it flush during meditation. But anyway, so this is always going to be a strange day for us, isn't it? September 11th. It's always going to conjure up some feelings, all kinds of feelings. For my dad and my mom, it was December 7th. Was the day that would live in infamy. For us, it's September 11th. I've been giving some thought to a meme, a little caption on social media, for those of you who may not be thinking I'm talking about a mime. It's a meme, a little caption and saying, that often has a flag and the Twin Towers, and we will never forget. And I thought about the different ways that can be interpreted. We will never forget. And it's true. I think I can speak for every person in this room when I say we will never forget. That was a moment that was surreal. And it was one thing when there was the first plane, and then there was a second plane, and then news reports came in that a plane had gone down that was on its way to the Pentagon. We knew we were under full attack on our homeland. And it was a sense of violation and panic and end to the world that we knew unlike anything I'd ever experienced. And as a frequent traveler, going through airports anywhere from 2 to 6 times a week back in those days, my world really changed. We had a right to be upset. We had a right to feel angry that human beings, fellow human beings, could do such a horrific thing. And many of us, and I don't mean us, but I mean us, mankind, lashed out in such angry, hateful ways, unhealthy ways. What I saw unfolding in this country was this rage. And only a few years after all this, I just kind of as an aside so that you can understand what's in the hearts of all Americans. I had a neighbor that I didn't know. I know he had a name I couldn't quite pronounce at the time, Ishmael or something that I couldn't quite say. I wasn't sure where he was from. He was reasonably friendly, but we were surely not friends. And his kids were awful. They were just nasty kids. They were always up to trouble, and they were pulling pranks and taking stuff from our yard, and they were a pain in the neck. And one time I noticed that his yard had grown up inordinately. I mean, it was like probably 10, 12 inches long. I'm surprised the homeowners association didn't get after him. But it was really a mess. And I almost sarcastically said to his older son, who was probably only 6 or 7, I said, "Hey, don't you own a lawnmower?" And he said, "Well, we did, but some guy came and took it." And he just kind of looking at his feet and went in the house. Some guy came and took it. And I was processing, trying to understand what that even meant. And all these scenarios went through my head. And I thought, well, maybe it was one of those deals that was financed through a department store or some such thing, and somebody came and repossessed the man's lawnmower. Because he usually kept it fairly nice. And it bothered me. And it bothered me that I asked the kid, because I was thinking, hey, you're 6, you're old enough, get out there and mow, right? I did when I was your age. Well, when I was your age, I mowed uphill both ways, all the way up. So I felt just kind of bad. And after maybe a day and a half of wallowing in my shame, I got my lawnmower out and went over and started mowing. And at this point, it had grown so tall that the lawnmower kept crapping out. You know, every like 6 inches you'd push in, it'd be like, I'm like, I back the thing up and shake it all out of all the dead grass and start it again. And so I was out there, and probably 20 minutes had gone by. I was really getting a lot of it done. I mean, we didn't have big lots there in Nashville. We had like 1/4 acre lots at the most. So this was not a lot of property, but it was a bear of a job, and it was a hot day. And he came out almost frantically, waving his arms at me out the back door. And I thought, here we go. I was going to start yelling at me, and he's mad at me for mentioning the law and blah, blah. He said, he looked at me and just incredulously, and he said, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, I just felt bad. Yusuf told me that your lawnmower wasn't here anymore for whatever reason, and I just thought I would pitch in and help out. I know you work a lot, you're gone a lot, and I don't mean any offense. And he said, "I'm not offended, but and his eyes started to well up, and they got all watery. And he said, I just can't believe somebody in this neighborhood would do this for me." And so at this point, I just shut off the lawnmower, we shook hands, we reintroduced ourselves, and he began to share with me. He said, the lawnmower was under warranty, and I wanted to exchange it, and they wouldn't give me a new one. They said they would come fix it, and they came almost 2 weeks ago now to fix it, and they still haven't even started working on it. And I would think they would have brought me a new one or loaned me one, blah, blah, and he's just going on and on. And you know, that neighbor on the other side, he always comes and asks to borrow my tools, and once a week he comes and he borrows something. And I asked him if I could borrow his lawnmower, and he said no. And I said, I'm so sorry that happened. He said, I just can't believe you're doing something so kind. He said, here, let me take over. I said, I really could use the exercise, frankly. I said, I don't mind, and I know you worked all night, and he said, well, it's Ramadan, and we're not supposed to do these things, and I said, tell me more about that. I don't know anything about that. Forgive my ignorance. And he explained the faith and how that they fasted and during the day, and I was just fascinated, and I truly was fascinated. He shook his head. He says, I work at the Opryland Hotel. I'm in catering. And I was at work in the break room on the morning of September 11th. And I saw the planes hit the building. And I was as upset as anyone else in that break room. But most of my coworkers turned and stared at me and said, "Why did you people do this?" He says, that was 8 years ago, and I never forgot how that felt. To feel so hated for someone having done something that's somehow associated with me. It would be like us being yelled at because of the actions of somebody in the Ku Klux Klan. "Oh, you Christians, you're all alike. You look what you've done." That would be as ridiculous as telling this man, "Look, all you Muslims, you're horrible. Look what you've done." He taught me so much in that moment, looking in his eyes, looking at the tears forming and starting to roll down his cheek. And there we were, two very, very different people who probably didn't like each other or didn't think they liked each other all that much before, having this heart-to-heart conversation because his lawn grew up kind of high. And ever since then, I have given thought to those memes, "We'll never forget." And so part of me can honor, we'll never forget. We should remember and honor those who died and do what we need to do to protect ourselves and be mindful and be loving and kind and attract better things to us. But if what is meant by we'll never forget is we'll never forget how angry we are, we'll never trust you people, any of that type of thing, then I cannot and I will not ever honor that we'll never forget bit. Even when people will put flags up of the American flag and don't tread on me and this, that, and it seems to be being done in anger instead of pride. Because we can share these things from a place of pride in our country, connection to our fellow Americans. But I'm sorry, unless any of you here are Native American, you didn't come from here, or somebody in your line didn't come from here. We all moved here, and we all moved here with different beliefs, different preferences, different ways of life, and we melded. That's why it's called the melting pot. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so something did shift after 9/11. Do you remember it? It was all the American flags that we saw, almost everywhere. People that didn't have flagpoles were going out and putting them in. You couldn't buy a flagpole for 6 months after 9/11. They were sold out. Manufacturers were scrambling to take orders on flags and flagpoles. Some of those were flown, "I'm American," and "come try to take it from me." And others were, "We're American and we're going to be okay." So today, I remind you that we're American and we're going to be okay. You know, when I was a kid, I sold organs and pianos. I'm not a kid and I'm still selling pianos. But I was working in a mall and we just started importing a brand called Kauai. Like so. And I had several older gentlemen come in and say, "What's this kiwi? What's that all about? Where's that from?" "Oh, it's Japanese." "I ain't never buying no Japanese nothing." Said with anger. "I will never in my lifetime, I'm gonna own that Jap stuff." Because of Pearl Harbor. That was 25 years earlier. But the anger and the resentment and the, "No, I'll never, those people, no way." Now today, we're dear friends with Japan. Dear friends, they are great allies, and most of what is in your house came from Japan. Most of your cars out there are from Japan. If you want to go back a little further, what about German? I'm driving an Audi. My dad, if you could have rewound things back to when he was just getting out of the war, would have been appalled to think that I bought a German car. But we are a world power. We are a world economy. We are brothers and sisters around the globe. And even in spots, scary spots, like Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, and pockets of China concerning. There are people who wish us harm. It's not a secret. There have always been, and I dare to say there probably always will be, people who will wish us harm. They can wish all they want, but we stay strong. We stay centered in love. We pray. In each and every one's own way, we pray, because we were given that right when we became American. And it all just works. You know, we've all had conflict. Many of us have endured a divorce or a business partnership failing, closing. Maybe you've had a friend betray you. Maybe you've even been at a church at one time where they all split and became messy and yucky and it wasn't a great experience. Conflict happens. It just does. It's part of life. And thank God, quite literally at this moment, thank God, most of it's not as catastrophic and traumatic as the World Trade Towers being hit. But at the time and in the place and in that mindset, it was still pretty tough to take. Divorce is not fun. I don't recommend it. Any of you considering it as a hobby, don't. Find something else to do. Not fun. Closing a business, failing at something, having a friend badmouth you or betray you. These things happen. What do? We forgive. Yeah, but you're going to tell somebody about forgiveness and you're going to get the, yeah, but. Right? Yeah, well, they flew those planes and stop. If you don't forgive them for their sake, do it for you. Do it for your own peace of mind. Martin Luther King. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Lewis B. Smedes, I have no idea who he is. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. Think about that. Reverend T.D. Jakes said, we cannot embrace God's forgiveness if we are so busy clinging to past wounds and nursing old grudges. George Herbert said, he that cannot forgive others breaks the bridge over which he himself must pass if he would ever reach heaven. For everyone has to be forgiven. Marcus Cicero, let us not listen to those who think we ought to be angry with our enemies and who believe this is to be great and manly. Nothing is so praiseworthy, nothing so clearly shows a great and noble soul as clemency and readiness to forgive. Marianne Williamson said, the practice of forgiveness is our most important contribution to the healing of the entire world. Lewis Smedes again. You will know that forgiveness has begun when you recall those who hurt you and feel the power to wish them well. I saw a couple of people squirm. Maybe there's somebody you thought of, you think that's going to be tough. Trust me, it's very workable. How about this one? Let's see if this sounds familiar. Author unknown. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Matthew 6:14, if you want to get scriptural about it all. For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And lastly, from Luke 6:37, do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. So give yourselves the gift of knowing that for every hateful person training with submachine guns or bombs or anything, to lash out and cause injury. There are 10 more that just want to be in the presence of God. Just be in the presence of love and light and kindness. You know, we have some mixed up, angry, dangerous people among us. I don't mean in this room, but I mean, shall we look? Let's not get into something dangerous here with debates about weaponry or any of that stuff. I don't want to go there. But I think it's safe to say that some of the most horrific acts that have happened on this soil have happened by Americans. Angry, misguided, confused, ignorant people who did horrible things, every bit as horrible as what happened on September 11th. So don't you allow the color of someone's skin or the type of religion or their country of origin to stop you from being the child of God that you are. So let's take a moment together. Breathe in love. Breathe out anger. Breathe in knowing. Breathe out doubt. Breathe in brotherhood. Breathe out the concept of an enemy. There's somebody, for almost everybody in this room, there is somebody that remains unforgiven. It could be a parent who failed doing the best that they could. It could be an ex. It could be a former employer. It could be a former friend. And here's the big one, folks. It might be you. Because for years I walked with the inability to forgive myself for my shortcomings, my failures. So right here, right now, with God's blessing washing over you, cleansing you, rinsing you clean of all that, immerse yourself in love, understanding, and forgiveness. Let it go. And right here and right now, know that God is so, so proud of you and loves you so much. And I charge you to go and pay that love forward today and for the rest of your lives. Happy September 11th. God bless you.
Thank you, Sean. Wow. A beautiful reminder, once again, about how to open our hearts and let the chains go away. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, from Luke 6:37, Give and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, overflowing in your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure that you get back. And forgiveness is just part of that. So this is the time in our service when we take out that checkbook, take out that credit card. And for those of you watching us on Facebook, there will be ways for you to give also. Because even though you're not here with us this morning in person, we know that you've received a mighty gift. So we take this time and this moment and just repeat after me our love offering statement together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I receive in abundance.
Love flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. Peace, Spirit, move through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. Love flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. Peace, Spirit, give to me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding
Beautifully done. You know, as we hear talks of forgiveness and opening up our hearts, I'm sure every one of you had a thought go through your mind, and I'll just share the one that went through me. It was in the Garden of Gethsemane. The soldiers approached, and Peter pulled out his sword and cut the ear off one of the soldiers. And Jesus looked at Peter and said, "Put that away. We'll have none of that." And he healed the soldier. And in the days and weeks to follow was the greatest demonstration of love and forgiveness that we still talk about today. So we give thanks for these tithes and these offerings and for this message this morning. And we know that they go forward to heal, to guide, and to bring joy, not only to ourselves, but to our families, to the people that we work with, to those in this community, and throughout the world. And for this, we are so grateful. Thank you, God. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Lord.
Well, thank you, Laurie and Sean. What a great message on forgiveness. Before we start our announcements, can you guys hear? Oh, yes, it goes on. Before we start our announcements this morning, I'd like to share a bit, a story about 9/11 that was on a morning talk show. In summary, what happened was planes were diverted through a small Canadian town that had only maybe 9,000 citizens, and there were 7,000 passengers that were unexpectedly put into this town for a week. These people supported these total strangers out of the kindness of their hearts and helped them for the entire week. This inspired a man who spoke on this morning talk show about a charity on the first anniversary of 9/11, because he wanted to continue to spread the compassion that he experienced. The other thing that he remembered was how united we all felt after this incident. He aimed to restore the kindness and unity we all witnessed during that day. Last year, he launched a program. It's called 11 Days of Kindness and Unity Campaign. So we invite you to reach out today over the next 11 days to do random acts of kindness to other people. His hope was that the people would perform a total of 22,000 good deeds within the year of 2022. That 11 days turns into a year, and then a year turns into a lifetime of kindness. Okay, now for our announcements. Each week we have the midweek spiritual boost, the midweek faith lift podcast with Shannon and Reverend Doug. This is Wednesdays at 4 o'clock, and you can see this online on Facebook. We also have a casual gathering on Thursdays at 6 p.m. at Whole Foods on Manufacturers Row on the mezzanine level. It's a great time that we all get together and get to know each other a little bit better outside of church. Now, on Sunday, October the 2nd, we're going to be downtown to represent Unity of Chattanooga at the Pride Festival Parade. We're looking for a few members, or people who would like to march in the parade, as well as can man the booth and give out information about Unity of Chattanooga. You can sign up on the center back table or see Shannon after the services. Also, you can also buy the Unity of Chattanooga t-shirts that are in the back. They're $20 each, and we have white and gray, so you have your selection, multiple sizes. I'm the board member in charge of our outreach program for the homeless of Chattanooga. We have a floral box in the back that you can make a donation for items such as food, drink, supplies that they may need. I'm also looking for a couple of people that would like to co-chair this with me. It is a commitment to service some people within our community that need our help. So if you're interested, please see me after the service. And last, we also have a building fund challenge. For September, Reverend Fayen has offered to match your donations in September up to $500. These donations will go specifically to the renovations that might be needed in our permanent home. Last week we collected about $100, so we are well on our way. Also, just to let you know, we have looked at some space this week. It wasn't what Shannon and I did. We don't think that it was exactly within the scope of what we're looking for, but something will show up, and we continue to look on a weekly basis. Okay. Following the service today, our prayer chaplains are available if you would like personal prayer and support. If you're watching online, you can email your prayer requests to contacts@unityofchattanooga.org. Next Sunday, Reverend Doug will be back as our speaker, and so we hope that you'll all be back too. Be sure and stay for fellowship and a couple of items back on the table to eat, and let's join together on our peace song.
And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And just remember as you go forward, forgive and you will be forgiven. God bless.
Carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the helpless, deceived and worn. Hold out your candle for all to see. Take your candle, go light the world. Light a candle